Welcome to a live, brand new edition of your favorite podcast, Dodgers Territory. That is my guy, Clint Pasillas. I am Alanna Rizzo, your host, as we start our third year of this great show. Of course, spring training will kick off our third year. What is up, Clint? Good to see you. Happy New Year, all the things.
It's been a minute. It feels like it has. I'll just say this: when we're talking about like the show and what we're going to talk about, and guys, I'll remind you, please do subscribe to the show. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. You can help us get there before the start of the new year, or sorry, before the start of spring training. That's the one. You already messed up on the New Year one, but Riz, you remember when moves used to happen in the off season?
I do. I remember those days. It seems like it was so not even 2025. It was like so 2024 when stuff would happen. It's been 84 years, to take a quote from the Titanic. But Clint, as you know better than anybody, as the producer of the show, we do have things to talk about in the big ticket.
Let's do it. Stuff and things. Still not a whole lot going on, guys.
Nothing's going on.
The Dodgers, I'm waiting. I think Andrew Friedman, maybe he's focused on his Lakers job. I'm sure things are cooking in the background. We do have some hot stove rumors today, thanks to your friend, and less so mine, mostly because I don't know him that well. I know him enough. But Ken Rosenthal, he's set to work on helping us have some content. Riz, and I'm sure you saw this, he dropped a column today, this morning in The Athletic, penned also, I believe, with Will Salmon. But it seems like things are heating up a little bit. Apparently, maybe the Dodgers aren't quite out on the Kyle Tucker of free agency and all that. Here's what Ken had to say about that before we dive into it. Tucker on a 4-year deal with opt-outs and a massive AAV would be a classic Friedman addition. Still sounds like a long shot. We've talked a lot about Kyle Tucker. We've talked a lot about this team needing one more bat. Maybe it's the outfield. Maybe it's second base. What do you think about the latest with Kyle Tucker? And I mean, I'm checking. It is now 5 days into the new year, and he still doesn't have a job.
Yeah, I know. But, I don't think these guys are worried about it because remember, Alex Bregman signed super late. A lot of these guys sign really late. It is January 5th, by the way. Happy birthday to my dad today on January 5th. This is my situation. So on December 31st, Clint, the last day of 2025, MLB.com said that there is one question each team needs to address prior to spring training. And their thought for the Dodgers was the outfield. I agree with that. I think that's the biggest question mark right now that the Dodgers still have to address is the outfield. I still personally don't believe Kyle Tucker is necessarily the answer, but I would be willing to change my opinion on that if it is this sort of structured deal, right? I'm not trying to give Kyle Tucker a 9-year, 10-year deal for $400 million. But if what Ken is saying is a possibility, I could understand perhaps a 4-year deal with a pretty high AAV, right? The annual average value of a deal. That being said, I still don't think that we need to spend that kind of money on another outfielder when there's other ways to get outfielders that are not going to cost as much. Again, Dodgers have the money. Is Kyle Tucker the right fit in LA? I'm not so certain about that. I kind of liked what you and I were talking about the other day on Dodgers Territory, that we're saying, listen, for our New Year's resolution, we're going to need Teoscar Hernandez to admit that left field is probably a better spot for him, right? Then you have Andy Pajes in right, and then you move Tommy Edman to center field, or you figure something out with that. Here's something that I'm thinking about too, and they were talking about it on Foul Territory. I'm not certain that the Toronto Blue Jays are out on Tucker just because, they've made some serious moves already. They're saying that they can't do Tucker and Bregman, but they can do Bichette and Tucker, or Bichette and Bregman, but they can't do all three of those guys, right? So I would love it still if we did what we just said with our outfield and got a Bo Bichette type of piece by the name of Bo Bichette.
Yeah, that is the ultimate Bo Bichette type of piece. Yeah, well, we'll talk more Bo Bichette a little bit later, because as you mentioned, Toronto did make a splash last week with the signing of what is it, Okamoto. I forget his name. We'll dive into that a little bit later. But on the Kyle Tucker stuff, to sort of button this up in a way, or not really button it up, do the Dodgers need Kyle Tucker? No. Could they use him? Absolutely. They need an outfielder or they need a second baseman, and we've talked a whole bunch about this. You get a 2B and you kick Tommy Edman out to the outfield, whether that is center field or it's left field. And if it is left field, that means you're really buying in on Andy Pages being your answer in center field, which I don't hate. He figured out a lot of stuff last year, did Pages. Kyle Tucker absolutely fits because he is a good bat to baseball kind of dude. That's what this team needs. They very clearly have an opening. I wouldn't say a hole, but an opening in the outfield. There is a qualifying offer attached to Tucker, and Dodgers already lost a draft pick with the signing of Edwin Diaz. I do wonder if that could be an issue for the front office. Essentially losing what 2 or 3, I think it would be
2 or 3 draft picks.
Yeah, you're losing a lot. They find their way to backfill the farm system through trades and all this kind of stuff. I'm not so worried about losing draft picks, but when we're talking about Tucker, yes, that would be like a cool to have. I don't even know if I'd go as far as a good to have, a nice to have for sure, but I don't think they need to have Kyle Tucker. I agree, and we will talk more Bichette in the second half of the show. There was one more thing before we get into that and kind of reiterating or 3-iterating or 5-iterating our love for Bo Bichette on the Dodgers. Another one of the things mentioned in Ken's article was Freddy Peralta out of nowhere. Freddy Peralta trade rumors, and we were kind of clowning on Milwaukee when literally seconds after the Dodgers bounced them in the playoffs, it goes to, they could be trading Freddy Peralta this winter, which is insane.
Like they didn't even wait until the last out was reported. We might move him.
Insane. Absolutely insane. That is how you win a fan base there, and that is how you ruin baseball. But anyways, he's another one of the names that Ken has mentioned, Ken and Will Salmon, in that Athletic article. Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Braves, Red Sox having shown interest in trading for Freddy Peralta. This is kind of immediately an incendiary topic when you post Freddy Peralta and Dodgers on the internet. Obviously, he's a phenomenal pitcher. Freddy Peralta, I'll put the stats up. He is every fifth day, Freddy. He is the model of consistency. The dude absolutely has killed it, especially over these 5 seasons.
Well, I love that the ERA continues to go down. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
trending.
obviously, he's trending in the right direction. Here's what I want to ask you, though, Clint. Where does he fit in? I mean, he's your genuine 5th starter, though, right? 5th or 6th, because you're going to have a 6-man rotation if you are the Los Angeles Dodgers, because 2 of your pitchers are Japanese born, and that's what they want to do, and that's fine. But what does this mean? Does Roki Sasaki not make the starting rotation? Is it Freddy Peralta, Roki Sasaki? Is it Freddy Peralta, Emmet Sheehan, and Roki Sasaki goes to the bullpen? Because he's not better than Blake Snell. He's not better than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's not better than Tyler Glasnow. He's, what I'm saying? Like, he's not better than he's obviously not better than Ohtani. So is he your 5th? Is he your 6th?
Well, I mean, definitely he would be the best, absolutely the best 5th starter in baseball. You could argue Peralta's maybe in that same conversation, that same category as Tyler Glasnow. The top 3 dudes, absolutely not. When you're talking about Yamamoto, Ohtani, and Snell, they are a step above, and that's no indictment on Freddy Peralta. Great pitcher. But yeah, this would be the best 5th starter in baseball. Dodgers already have a bunch of really, really, really strong candidates for that 5th starter spot. Also for that 6th starter spot, they're going to have Roki Sasaki in the starting rotation, at least to start spring training, at least to start the season. You don't make an investment in the kid without giving him an opportunity to figure out how to be a starter. But you have Emmet Sheehan, you have Gavin Stone coming back from surgery, River Ryan coming back from surgery, Kyle Hurt. We've talked about all these names. He is around. He's more likely to be in the bullpen, but he is somebody who's still likely going to be building up as a starter at the start of spring training, because that's kind of what you do. I saw in the chat, by the way, who was it? I think it was Matty Man 5 Dodge. We're going to have a 10-man rotation. Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers kind of could.
But remember when we thought that 2 years ago? And
Fair.
it was
And
like,
that's where we,
oh my
yeah.
God, now what? Everyone's hurt. Every single person was on the IL. Thank God the bullpen stepped up when they did. So you can never have enough pitching. You just don't. I know it sounds like, remember last year when we thought we had the most amazing bullpen in the world in spring training and then it imploded? So you can never have enough starting pitching. You can never have
Baseball,
enough pitching.
baseball has
But
a funny way about it.
what do you give up for Freddie Peralta? What do you think
Well,
Milwaukee's going to want?
well, they're definitely going to want more starting pitching back, young, controllable starting pitching. Cough, cough. Emmet Sheehan, the same way we've had the Tarek Skubal kind of references and rumors and all this kind of stuff. It starts at an Emmet Sheehan. You trade from an area of depth, and it's probably one of the outfield prospects. I don't know. I mean, these are the assets the Dodgers have. Alex Freeland's another one of the dudes who's on the 40-man roster who is kind of ready to get some consistent playing time at the big league level. Could be, random pieces like that. Freddy Peralta is a free agent at the end of the season, so you can't get as much for him, but I don't know. Like, again, I love Freddy Peralta. The dude is a beast. However,
he's consistent, and that's helpful.
Extremely consistent, but I don't know. I would really love to see, oh no, the fifth starter being Emmet Sheehan or Gavin Stone or even Roki Sasaki. I would like to see, those three dudes in that competition for the fifth and sixth spot. I'd like to see how it shakes out. River Ryan in the mix as well. Dude is nasty, like we talked about in the New Year's show. The dude is absolutely nasty. These guys need an opportunity to pitch for the Dodgers at the big league level. And you already have so much starting pitching. Yes, they get hurt. Starting pitching is fickle and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, you need to see what you have in-house. We have Freddy Peralta at home, as Mom used to say, rest her soul. She never said that once. But I don't know.
I wouldn't think that Mama Pasillas would be saying. But.
If you're adding a starting pitcher, it's Tarek Skubal or stick with what you got in the house.
Yeah, I agree. Tarek Skubal or I mean, oof, yeah. I'm okay. I mean, I'd love to have Freddy Peralta in a Dodger uniform, of course. But do we absolutely need Freddy Peralta? No, based on the four that we already have and the fifth and the sixth. That again. Let's see what these guys can do in terms of that. I think our outfield need is greater than our fifth and sixth rotation need. But what do I know? I don't think we need Kyle Tucker. That's all I'm saying right now. All right. So that is that. But there are some rumors out there. And we're talking about the Blue Jays, Clint. I know it's not in our division. I know it's not in our league, but the Blue Jays are going for it. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it. Rumor has it the Blue Jays are ruining baseball.
I mean, honest to goodness, a couple of months removed from being an inch away, a spike away, if you will, as just a little bitty guy from winning the World Series over our Los Angeles Dodgers. They continue to reload for another run at it. Good for them. Good for them, Clint, for going after it, spending the money, making some moves, obviously locking up Vladimir Guerrero Jr. forever, making some key moves. I like it. I like what the Blue Jays are doing. Good for them. We're so used to it being the Dodgers and the Yankees to a certain extent, obviously. Every team can do it. The Blue Jays are going after it, and I can appreciate that. They signed Japanese infielder Kazuma Okamoto to a multi-year deal. It's 4 years, $60 million. Jeff Passan reporting this a couple of days ago. So there you have it. And he's a third baseman. So good for them. Good for them. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, to pull on that thread a little bit more of the Blue Jays ruining baseball, they had already signed Dylan Cease earlier this offseason, gave him a bunch of money in the market still, even after the Okamoto signing in the market, like you were mentioning earlier. Maybe still for Bichette, Tucker, maybe Bregman is in there. But does this move, does Toronto signing Okamoto, I'll get it right one of these days, does that affect a reunion with Bo Bichette? Because I'm assuming the guy they just signed is going to play third base because he's played third in Japan. He's played first. They got a dude locked up at first, as you mentioned. Vlad Guerrero is pretty damn good at playing baseball. Ernie Clement was playing third base for them in the postseason. He moves over to second base. He also got Addison Barger around, even though he's played, I think, mostly outfield. Andres Jimenez played a really, really good shortstop for them. things would look better lineup wise, absolutely, with Bo Bichette in their lineup, but it's certainly not a bad look with Toronto with what they already have following that addition of Okamoto. Does that mean Bichette is in play for the Dodgers now?
That's the good question, right? Because I think the signing of Kazuma Okamoto kind of closes the door more on Bo Bichette because of the aforementioned players that you said that could be moved around the diamond. We know first base is locked down, right? But he is willing, Bo Bichette is, to play second. Okay. So he doesn't have to go to a team and play short, right? So I think it closes the door more on Bichette, the Okamoto signing does, than it does on Kyle Tucker. They're not going to sign Tucker and Bichette. They're not going to sign Tucker and Bregman. So I have a feeling that the door for Toronto and a Bo Bichette reunion is closing, which means that it opens it up more for LA than it did before they signed him.
Yeah, it's worth noting John Heyman last week had said the Dodgers had checked in on Bo Bichette's market. It also mentioned Red Sox, Yankees, Phillies, Cubs in the mix. So I don't know. I feel like maybe this is just my Dodgers tinted glasses on this, but it feels like pieces are falling in place for the Dodgers to kind of do. We entered the offseason with that thing in our brain that they have a clear need in the outfield. Second base was bad for this team last year. They hit a combined 239 OPS under 700, or well under 700. They just were not good. Tommy Edman led the charge there, hitting 249 as a second baseman in his games where he played there last year. I think, you want an outfielder, maybe you fix that with Edman going out there. You also have some other options still in-house with Alex Call, giving Ryan Ward an opportunity. But second base is not as easily fixed in-house, in my opinion, for the Dodgers. Before we dive into that, though, I mentioned 5 teams: Red Sox, Cubs, Yankees, Phillies. That's 4. I'm good at math. Boston, you've covered this team. You followed the Red Sox as well. You live right next door to them. They seem to have some options that could play second base. They already have a shortstop locked into place with Trevor Story.
They do. Trevor Story opted in back to his contract, which I'm not surprised to. The biggest thing for the Boston Red Sox is they have no answer at first base. And a lot is going to depend on what they do there if they're going to get Bregman back.
If they
don't have a first baseman.
If they play Wilson Contreras there, obviously they made that addition.
That's an option for sure. That's an option for sure. He can also catch, which is good because Connor Wong is not the answer for a backup catcher for anybody, but for the Boston Red Sox. And a lot depends on what happens with Bregman at third. Tristan Casas is not the answer at first, which is part of the reason that they brought in Wilson Contreras. Obviously, they've lost out on Kyle Schwarber. They lost out on Pete Alonso. And the Boston Red Sox just don't seem to want to spend any money right now. They're doing enough to keep the team engaged, but they're not doing enough to really improve the team more than they were last year. They signed Sonny Gray, which is fine, but they're not going to have Lucas Giolito back. So basically they have Garrett Crochet as their ace. You have Sonny Gray as your number 2. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. And then you have obviously Brian Bayo, who's still who's still up and coming, but still needs to take it into another gear. You have Peyton Tolley, who's very young. They don't have a great starting rotation. Not to mention they need another bat in that lineup. So the Boston Red Sox have more holes than they have answers for right now. They keep talking about Jarren Duran in trade conversations, even though they signed him to a 1-year extension. Is he going to be there? They have a plethora of outfielders. They have a lot of outfielders. Which one of those outfielders? Is it Jarren Duran? Is it Cedar Rafael? Is it Wilyer Abreu? Who are they going to move? I don't know. The Red Sox have a lot of question marks, and they don't have an ownership group that's willing to spend like the Los Angeles Dodgers do.
That's a big one. I know Rafaela has played some second base for them. He's played it also at the minor league level. Could be an option there if we're looking at second base. And I guess I sort of envision Bichette as like a second baseman. I don't know that any team is willing to sign him as a shortstop.
That would be great for Boston, right? Because if you have Trevor at short, and then you have Bo Bichette playing second, I don't know know what you're going to do with Marcelo Meyer, though. I mean, they think very highly of this kid. So are you going to have him play second, or are you going to have him get 600 ABs in the minor leagues? Because obviously Roman Anthony is there to stay forever. Yeah. He's just signed a 10-year deal.
I want that kind of money. I need his agent.
And he has like the best flow in the show too. He's like Nomar 2.0. Obviously not the same position, but just the whole aura. About Roman Anthony. But
I'd say I agree with you.
The Red Sox have a shit ton of holes, but they also have a lot of outfielders that, man, you want a great defensive outfielder, go hard after Cedar Rafaela. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And he can hit. Anyway, that's not the point.
This
isn't monster territory. We'll leave that up for Robbie Hyde to discuss the state and the fate of the Boston Red Sox.
Hey, how about this one here? Brian says they should sign Cody Bellinger for first base. How upset would Yankees fans be?
They could, but he doesn't play as well. I mean, that park doesn't lend itself as well to Belly as the Bronx does, right?
Especially as he ages.
And right, as he ages, all the things. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox, I see Belly going to New York, the Mets. Not back to the Yankees. I think it'd be a perfect fit for him to go to the Mets, play first base, because obviously Pete Alonso isn't there anymore. Yep. And they have the money to do it. They just unloaded everybody. So they certainly have the money to do it. Anyway.
Back to the matter at hand here. Bichette mentioning these spots. John Heyman mentioning all these landing spots. I agree. Boston has too many issues that one Bo Bichette is not going to fix. So let's look at the Cubs. Cubs have a second baseman, Nico Horner. End of conversation. They also have a shortstop in Dansby Swanson, whose name escaped me there for a second. It's not going to happen there. The Yankees mentioned in there. Everybody's favorite, Jazz Chisholm. Stay off the internet, bro. Anyways, he's there at second base for at least one more season. Yankees could absolutely use somebody. I mean, if they decide to move off of Anthony Volpe.
Which, you know what? They could put Jazz back in the outfield if they needed to. If they really wanted to go after Bo Bichette.
Nah. He could. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an option. But Bo Bichette would be nice for them. But I don't know. We'll leave that to pinstripe territory, guys. Make sure you go watch out there. Yes. And I was intrigued by the Phillies being they're most recently linked to Bichette, and they, much like the Red Sox, they have some holes, some question marks. You don't know if Alec Boehm is going to be their long-term answer at third base. I think they could definitely use an improvement at second base over Bryson Stott. Trey Turner is locked in with that massive, 11-year deal, 13-year deal, whatever it is. You kind of don't know who's going to be in left field or center field. I think they kind of want to move on from Walsh.
What's his face is gone. Matt Strahm, no? Didn't he get booted?
Well, I mean, that's a reliever, but still, yeah, he got...
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Brandon Marsh. Is he still there?
No, he's still there. They still have him. They still have...
it was Matt Strahm. That's right. He's the one that got moved. And
Nicolas Cage Jr. Yeah, exactly.
Nasty here, yes. How it's going to be much harder now. Did he get moved to Washington, Matt? So it's much easier for him now to steal the Declaration of Independence. Oh my gosh!
If my soundboard was on right now,
where did Matt Strahm go? Somebody in the chat tell me.
I turned on my soundboard specifically for this.
Yeah, that was bad.
Dusted that one off. So the point of all of this, gang, we'll bring the chat back in as well. The Dodgers have an open door at second base, and you know this if you watch this show over the last couple of weeks, couple of months now. We have kind of pivoted. Riz, you and I have pivoted from the need for an outfielder to being a need for a second baseman. There is an absolute need for a bat. That is paramount, whether it's in the outfield or in the infield, and that's something also Andrew Friedman had mentioned. They just need a bat, didn't necessarily say where. Thankfully, they have the flexibility to kind of adjust. But with as bad as second baseman hit for the Dodgers last year and the state of the infield depth versus the outfield depth, where again they still have Alex Call, they still have Ryan Ward, I kind of dig the idea of adding an infielder, whether it is a Bichette, or everybody's gonna be upset if I say an Alex Bregman. We've had this conversation on my Dodgers territory, or sorry, on my All Dodgers show.
It would take 4 minutes for this fan base to get over the fact if Alex Bregman became a
Don't like
Dodger.
winning? You don't like winning?
It's
We're out
just,
here trying to go back to back to back, brah.
yeah, I mean, it's fine. Oh, the Royals. That's who it was. Damn it.
Yeah,
The
they all look this.
Royals.
They all
That's
look the
where Matt
same.
from went. Anyway.
But if it's not going to be Edmund at second base, to focus in on this and try to get back on track with what I had written. Personally, this is for a me thing. If it's not Edmund at second base, you could see Haesung Kim getting a decent amount of reps at the position, and you and I we differ a little bit on his potential. But I think we both agree that you can't enter the season with him as an everyday second baseman or even in a platoon role. You and I were talking earlier today, and I agree. You can't go into that season trying to go 3 in a row with anybody in a platoon.
The thing that's my point exactly. The starting opening day roster. Forget the roster. The opening day starting lineup. Nobody in the 8 positions can be a platoon player in my estimation. I always feel like platoon players need to just come off the bench. Versatile players, the utility guys, those are your bench guys. Those are the guys that you need when your everyday starting guy is run out there, needs a blow. That's it. Mm-hmm. I don't want a platoon left field. I don't want a platoon right. I don't want a platoon, second base or whatever. All of those positions need to be your everyday starting guy. And only when that guy needs a day off is when the platoon comes into effect.
Yeah.
You're the Dodgers. You don't need platoon players.
You really don't.
You need strong bench guys.
And they have been strong. They have been successful over this last decade plus with guys like Chris Taylor, with guys like Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas types, guys that you can plug in for that day. Will probably end up playing a lot more than you anticipate because of injuries and all that kind of stuff. But you win with good players, living players with good bats. You need a bat in this lineup. That is for certain. We got some love in the chat, by the way, super chat. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us in the chat. A couple from Fernando in the chat. If my mouse decided to work, Smurfy24 Doey. I always mess that up, but it's Fernando. That's Fernando. Says Bo makes so much sense. You could use him as a stopgap, put him at second, Edmund center field, and when Muncy retires, ship Bo to third base. And then Tank's back to second.
Yeah, I'm
fine with Zaire Hope in center field. In this scenario, that Zaire Hope makes it to the big league level by that point, absolutely an option. I would love for Bo Bichette to also eventually be the future third baseman for this team. Muntz has got one more season under contract, but he's getting older. And
aren't we all?
All right, I feel it. They definitely need an answer there eventually. He also had to say for $9.99 on this super chat. I usually think the media just throws Dodger names around to boost the storylines. How dare you say that about Ken? That's it. That is it.
I don't think that's exactly what you're saying.
But maybe Chef Friedman has something cooking. Cough. Please have it be Bo Bichette. And Richie with $4.99 says, when will Elena make a DeVore man cave? He's going to make it. You're going to make a man cave appearance before Bo Bichette is a Dodger.
I don't know about that because I think if Bo Bichette's going to be a Dodger, it's going to be before spring training. And we're not going out there until probably the second or third week of March. And then you don't live in Arizona. So, no, I'm going to be... Bo will be a Dodger before I make it to the man cave, just based on logistics in the calendar. Duh.
Science. That's science. Hey, why don't we tell people about a dog?
Let's do it. All right, guys, welcome Moose to the Guidry's Guardian Foundation family. I did not Photoshop that ball into his mouth. He actually picked that up. Moose used to be known as Biscuit. He was at the Baldwin Park shelter. He is not even a year old, and he is about 26 pounds. He was going to be killed. He was on the 72-hour euthanasia list, and somebody stepped up and said yes, that they would be willing to foster him. So we got him out. And he is now decompressing in a foster home in Altaloma, California. And he is going to go to the vet on Tuesday and get an overall wellness check. We're going to get him some stuff for his dermatitis on his little nose there. He's super playful. He's potty trained. He's great with kids. He needs an adopter. If you are interested in adopting this lab mix, we believe he's a lab mix. DNA test has been ordered. Please reach out to me on social, guidrysguardian.org, or check us out. And I would love for Moose to be able to get a forever home.
Deserves it. It's a new year. Get yourself a damn doggo. And also, hand up accountability on my part here. I don't know why I said Fernando. Listen, I was drunk for the last week, so I apologize. It's Francisco Diaz.
What's up, Francisco?
My bad.
As long as there's no sand in front of it.
You know what? I already have it on.
I deserve that. It's fine. I deserve that. All right. Do you have a show tonight, by the way?
It's TBD. I need to. We need to have a show over on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. Do check us out. Do subscribe there while you're here on the internet, while you're already here subscribing to us here in Dodgers territory. We need to have a show. I meant to have one yesterday, but I took the rest of the weekend coming back from vacation to decompress. But if we do, I want to deep dive into the second base competition that is currently looming for the Dodgers ahead of spring training. So I will let people know when we're going to be live, but should be very, very soon.
People will know as long as they subscribe to your channel. They'll know when you're coming. I'm going to do that for here as well. We're trying to get up to 15,000 subs. We appreciate that very much. Before we let you go, guys, we just want to make sure, in case you missed our announcement prior, our thought for the road is on Thursday when Clint and I are here. Katie Wu of The Athletic, who has just been named as the second beat writer for The Athletic to cover the Dodgers, she's going to be on the show with us. She is not only going to be a contributor on Dodgers territory, but she is also going to serve as a co-host, which is awesome because Katie is there every single day. She's in the clubhouse. She's in the dugout. She's on the trips with the team. She's there every single game. She did a tremendous job covering the St. Louis Cardinals, but she now is the newest beat writer. In addition to Fabian Ardaya, we are psyched to have her as part of our team. She's only going to make Dodgers territory better, so make sure you give her a follow. Don't give her a foul. She does not need any animals, any birds. Give her a follow. And go ahead and hit it one more time.
Yeah. Three-peat. Comes in threes.
So bad. Anyway, give her a follow. She's going to join us on Thursday, and then she is hosting with Clint on Monday, solo with Clint. I am flying back from Aruba. That is if I can actually get to Aruba and out of Aruba, just because of all the shit that's happening with Venezuela. So there you have it. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, out of all the shows we've done, guys, this is one of them. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on this edition of Dodgers Territory. Hopefully something happens soon because we need some real Dodgers news, and one of those should be Bo Bichette being a Dodger. If Andrew Friedman likes us and watches, should be Bo Bichette. Guys, buy yourself some stuff in the Dodger Stadium or whatever it's called, Dodgers Territory Shop. DodgersTerritoryShop.com. Scan that QR code. Click the link in the description. You saw Alanna wearing a Dodgers Territory shirt, whatever it is, sweater. T-shirt. I've got a hat, all that kind of stuff. Do support us there.
Do it. All right, guys. Appreciate you very much. Have a great week. Clint and I and Katie will see you on Thursday.
Bye.